Earlier today, we were attacked here. Afterward, I went on to the temple.
Yeah. Look, it's a puppet.
Come on. Hans, I never heard your name before we met in the temple earlier. Where are you from, anyway?
Well, others shouldn't know too much.
What do you mean by that? The barrier's active, no doubt about it.
Welcome back, guys. How did it go?
I think we'll have to shut down the barrier ourselves.
I see.
Flamey, you all right?
I don't need your sympathy.
Mora, how are things looking to you now?
The Book of Divine Words says nothing of how to disable the barrier.
Well, that sucks, doesn't it?
But I do know that there are two ways. First of all, the one who activated the barrier can also deactivate it. Second, if they die, the barrier is disabled and we can leave the temple. Neither human nor fiend can penetrate the barrier.
Can it be activated from outside?
Impossible.
So only a human could have been responsible for this?
Yes, only a human.
So, Mora, what you're saying is that one of us is a traitor and has gone over to the demon god.
Everyone, I'm telling you that it's Flamey. If we kill her, the barrier will disappear and everything will be fine.
No way. She's one of us, and you're not gonna hurt her. You got that?
You're a big pain, you know.
Hold on, Chamo.
Huh?
Let's introduce ourselves to each other first. To be honest, there are still some names I can't match to faces.
Meow. You're bad at remembering things.
All right, if I must.
Let's tell each other what we've been doing until now.
Why would we do that?
It could give us a clue. Something to help us find the imposter, that seventh brave who should not exist.
Adlet?
I'll go ahead and start. I'm Adlet Meyer of the Six Braves. I'm the strongest man in the whole world. I'm 18 years old, and from Wuro, the nation of the White Lakes. When I was little, I lost my family. And all by himself, the world's strongest man, me, headed here to this temple.
Strongest in the world, strongest in the world. Do you really have to keep repeating that to us?
Why is it you think describing yourself that way is helpful?
I guess this guy must think he's stronger than Chamot, huh?
It's the strongest in the world. No doubt I am the strongest in the world. In other words, that's totally me.
An idiot. He's such a huge one.
Well, someone really strange was selected as a brave.
Now, do you want to hear what happened when the barrier activated?
No, tell us later. Who's going to go next?
I don't mind being next.
I'd like to take my time listening to the bunny girl.
You, Hans, was it? This is the Crown Princess of Piena. Normally, someone like you could not even approach her.
Yeah? Well, now I'm even more interested.
Nashatanya, why don't you go?
Okay. I'm Nashatanya Lue Piena Agustra, the Crown Princess of Piena, and also the Saint of Blades.
Nashatanya was the first brave I met. Looking back, it was a strange meeting.
So after some terrible fighting, Goldov, Flamey, and I finally defeated the fiends and headed for the temple. When we arrived, we found that the barrier had already been activated, and the entire area was surrounded by a thick fog.
You're up next, Goldov.
Goldov, huh? I can't imagine such a loyal man betraying the princess, but...
Goldov Aora, the leader of Piena's Black Horn Knights. I was carrying out a mission to find the brave killer. At the time that I acquired the crest, I was in the country of Holy Rivers. After rejoining the princess, We were on our way to meet the other Braves at the fortress when we heard about the temple barrier here. After leaving the fortress to come here, we encountered Adlet and Flamey along the way. The rest is as Adlet and the princess have said.
I'm not at all happy to hear that Braves are fighting among themselves. More on that later, but for now I'll go. My name is Mora Chester. I'm the leader of All Heaven's Temple and Saint of Mountains.
You mean the temple that supervises all the saints?
We only watch them to ensure that their powers are not misused. And yes, I've memorized every single name, face, and ability of all 78 saints.
When we become saints, the rule is that we go and greet Mora immediately so she can learn all she needs to know about us.
Okay, do you know Flamey?
Actually, I don't. The most likely explanation is that she's a newly created saint, but that hasn't happened for a century or so. Returning to the point, 10 years ago, I replaced the Sun Saint Riora. Since then, there have been no major problems, though it's been a bit difficult to keep Chamo under control.
Huh?
When the demon god awoke, I was in the country of Red Peaks. When I heard of the phantasmal barrier at the fortress, I left at once. 2 days ago, I decided on a plan. I was waiting at the rendezvous point when Hans arrived by himself yesterday. Then I ran directly here when I saw the explosion.
Wait a minute, someone with your powers didn't know about the barrier?
Of course I heard of it, but was not aware of specifics. If I'd known this would happen, I'd have taken far more care when talking with all of the saints involved. Now, Chamo, your turn.
I'm Chama. I'm the Saint of Swamps. Only 14, but I'm really strong. I became a saint when I was just 7 years of age. Chama couldn't help it when she was a little too strong, so whenever I used my power, Mora would get mad at me. I entered a martial arts tournament in the Yellow Fruits country, but in the first round, I screwed up and killed my opponent.
That's a famous story that shows Chamo's strength. If it turns out that she's the seventh brave, we have a big problem.
My mom and dad got me ready for the long journey ahead, and I got a map, headed for the land of the Howling Demons, defeated some fiends on the way, and when I heard all the fuss and came here, this mysterious fog showed up out of nowhere. And when I came to the temple, Flamey was here. I was so surprised.
Wait, you know Flamey?
Yeah, we've met. Chamot defeated me in single combat. You mean that Chamot almost killed you?
Is she the one they all call the Brave Killer? I find that hard to credit.
Hans, get up there.
All right. Yeah. My name is Hans Humpty.
Hans. He's definitely the most
Well, that
suspicious
doesn't
one in the
matter.
group.
I'm employed as an assassin.
Assassin? A killer was chosen as a brave?
Anyone who can defeat the demon god can be chosen. Well, am I wrong?
How's that?
Turns out, Princess, that the world isn't as righteous a place as you think it is. A lot of so-called outstanding members in your government have asked me to assassinate someone before.
That's not true.
That's the truth. Moving on from now. When I was chosen to be a brave, I was pretty close to the land of howling demons. The first thing I did was meet with the king and negotiate how much he'd pay if I defeated the demon god. Kings are big spenders, you know, and I got a nice big advance for the job. I hid the money and came to the land of howling demons and met Mora.
You're in it for the profit?
I only kill if there's a paycheck in it. Hold on, you guys aren't working for free.
You mean the king didn't inform you of the barrier?
Well, he mentioned something about going to the fortress or temple, but I didn't think it mattered, so I just ignored him. Then Mora here said really nice things.
He met Mora without hearing about the phantasmal barrier? So why didn't the king tell him? That doesn't make sense.
Hey, you talk really weird. Why do you do that?
Now that's a good question, little one. My fighting style's based on cats, and I created it by imitating how cats move when they're hunting. You could even say that cats were my masters. So out of respect, I talk like they do in my day-to-day life.
Everyone in this group of braves is weirder than the next.
You've got that right.
You should talk strongest moron in the whole world.
I am not a moron!
Flamey, or whoever you are. Your turn to speak. It doesn't matter whether you want to talk. If you remain silent, it will only weaken your position.
How could things be any worse than they already are?
Hey, careful now.
Could you please remove the eye patch and covering from my head? born from the union of a fiend and a human being. "20 years ago, a group of fiends infiltrated the human world. Their goal was to create a pawn who could fight and defeat the Braves when the demon god was revived, and of course I was that pawn. My father was human. I don't know what he looked like or why he did this. Once my mother was pregnant, he was killed. I was born of a fiend mother. I was even raised by fiends. My mother's allies took humans to the land of howling demons to build a shrine to the god of gunpowder. That's where I took the mantle of the saint of gunpowder. I grew strong, as my mother hoped I would. And in accordance with her orders, I left the land of howling demons. My orders were to further the demon god's revival. I never had a second's doubt. Although I may have been born half human, I consider myself to be all fiend. I believed the demon god was a wonderful being who would protect and guide all of us.
Then why are you here? Why turn your back on the demon god?
Even if I told you, I don't think you'd believe me.
We certainly won't have the chance to decide if you don't tell us. Don't forget, you're the one under the most suspicion.
Wait, Mora! Didn't you say before that only a human could activate the barrier?
Yes, that is what I said.
Well, if that's the case then, wouldn't it be impossible for a half-fiend like Flamey to activate it?
No, moron. I think she could do it without any problems.
Yeah, why?
Did you know this temple has countermeasures that keep the fiends from getting inside?
The Saint of Salt's pillars, right?
Yet Flamey just waltzed in here with everyone else.
But that doesn't mean...
Yes, it does. She can do things impossible for a human and things that are impossible for a fiend. Right. Isn't that the reason you were created?
Yes, that is correct.
Flamey, don't!
There's no point in lying. But then again, I didn't activate the barrier. Why are you all so certain what Mara said is really true?
Why would I have lied?
From my perspective, you are simply another suspect. There's no guarantee that what anyone here says is true.
She's right. We knew who Mora was, so I never doubted her. But...
The commander at the fortress is the one who told me about the barrier. I heard all about the barrier a long time ago. You mustn't forget that someone's lying. Without the facts, we have no idea who it is.
So, any one of us could be the
Right now,
seventh.
Chelmo thinks you're the most suspicious
If I'm not careful,
one.
they'll start to suspect me too. But now what's more important is dispelling the suspicion concerning Flamey.
I am not responsible for this. That is all I can say to you at this time. You're all so stupid and really boring. Flamey is the seventh brave, and she activated the barrier. No doubt about it. All we have to do is kill Flamey and we're free.
All right, that's enough!
What? Do you think we should torture her then? What torture?
Chamo, no!
Shelwood hasn't really tortured anyone, but she'd be good at it.
Don't waste your time. I don't think Flamey's the seventh. There's no point in hurting her.
What are you saying, Catboy? Chelmod is confused.
If she's the seventh, then why is Adlet still alive?
What?
Once we all gathered, it was clear that there was a fake in our midst. For the seventh, the worst possible situation. On the other hand, Flamey is known far and wide as the brave killer. She was putting herself in danger just by showing up.
I guess that makes sense.
The fake would need to stop the seven braves from gathering, no matter what. And from what I've heard, she had plenty of chances to kill Adlet before the temple was reached.
Even though I'm stronger?
Plenty of chances.
Flamey!
Adlet had his back to me for nearly the entire time it took for us to get here. Is that a fact?
You put yourself in front of the brave killer?
Yeah, I knew she wouldn't do anything to hurt me.
There you have it. Flamey didn't kill him, even though she had every opportunity. So if she is the seventh, what could she be trying to accomplish?
Good point. If she really is our enemy, that makes no sense.
That may be so, but can we really be sure?
That was close. But I never thought that my actions would be what cleared her.
Listen, I can still torture her, right?
No, weren't you listening to me?
I'm getting sick of people treating me like a little kid. Chelmod is one of the 6 braves.
All right then. What do we do?
Princess!
Oh, I'm fine. I just got a little dizzy for a moment.
Don't push yourself. Rest now.
Right.
Adlet. In as much detail as possible, can you tell us what happened when the barrier activated?
I can try. There was a woman on the ground when I got to the temple. She was actually a monkey fiend passing as a human.
A mutating fiend. Perfect. If I make her talk.
Oh, killed it already. It ran toward me, so I got it out of the way.
And we lost our chance to get any information.
Fiends are surprisingly loyal creatures. They would never talk, even if you threatened them with death.
So I went up to the temple door as the monkey fiend instructed. It was locked, so I blew the door open. It was surprisingly easy.
And here I had the key the entire time. I'm sure Private Lauren never anticipated such bizarre circumstances.
Once the door was open, these weird things came out and attacked me.
Guards created by the Saint of Seals. They attack those who open the door and don't follow proper procedure.
At least now I know why they seem to have it in for me. It was really well protected, wasn't it?
The King of the Iron Hills is a very secretive man. He wanted to prevent misuse.
It's being misused right now, though.
What about after that?
Oh, yeah. When I opened the door, the barrier had already been activated. Matter of fact, I think it was activated almost immediately after. When I went inside, the sword was already embedded in the dais.
Is it at all possible the barrier had been activated before you opened the door, Adlet?
Probably. However, there was no sign of anyone. The temple had no one here when I arrived. Are you better now?
Yes, sorry for making you worry like that. I hope you won't think I'm unreliable after what happened earlier. I merely got a little upset, that's all it was.
Yeah. Don't worry, I understand. It'd be more like you to play a trick than to be discouraged by something like this.
Really? What kind of a person do you think I am, anyway?
Adlet, sure you aren't misremembering anything?
I don't think so. Why?
Because now's your chance to fix it. After this, there won't be any takebacks, so are you sure you've told us the complete truth?
Yes.
When you came inside, the sword was already in the dais. You're sure about that, right?
Yes, I just said I was. You want me to sing it for you?
I'm an assassin by trade. Basically, that means I'm skilled at sneaking in and out of places unnoticed.
Could we skip the obvious and get on with it?
The point is that people in my line of work fear the Saint of Seals more than anything else. The Saint made strange doors all over this temple to stop folks like me. Either they won't open, you're trapped once they close, or iron bars descend when you open them. They've caused me all kinds of trouble. I know a lot about the Seal Saint's doors.
Well, we're waiting. What? What is he thinking?
This door is particularly strange. It's incredibly strong, but once it opens, it won't close again no matter how hard one tries.
How's that possible?
I'm the one who should be asking you that, Adlet. It doesn't make any sense. When you came here, the door was shut, and the barrier activated around the same time you broke the door. How did the one who activated the barrier get inside the temple in the first place?
What do you mean? There must be all kinds of ways to get in here.
You're not listening. Before you destroyed the door, entering this temple was an utter impossibility. No way, none at all. It could not be done.
You can't seriously mean that Adlet...
Hold on! You know I wouldn't do that! How did they get in?
Adlet, you'd better think hard or you're gonna die here. Once the door's been opened, it will not close. And there are no other entrances. You might use fiends, but thanks to the Salt Saint's pillars, they couldn't approach the temple even if they wanted. We call this type of situation, in which you can't get in or out, a locked room. From what you've told us, there's only one person who could have started the barrier. Adlet Meyer. That person would be you.
How does the dolphin sound?
Darn. I thought he was on the right. I would have got him midair. That would have been the greatest play of my life.
Ratio. Look at it! I got big hands! Hey guys! You doing alright? Yeah. Just showing everyone my big hands.
Yo, get the fuck out of my boot camp, kids.
Do him some harm. Got him. I waited for him to kill him, dude. Oh my god. That was so good.
Hey, pleb, these are plebs that play like
Oh my
this.
god, they're like right behind me.
You go and shoot bad guys.
Oh no. I'm dead.
Oh!
开水这洗到外头。
早说早说。
Let me use.
Okay, I'm gonna go there straight.
Kena react.
See if I can Kobayashi this one.
Kobayashi.
Oh, did you go in?
Sekali
Oh.
ni,
Oh!